I am going to give you the honest take on your nervous system that most wellness creators are too afraid to say. Your body thinks you are being chased by a lion 40 times a day. Not a metaphorical lion. A full threat level, heart-pounding, cortisol-flooding emergency. A Slack notification at 9 a.m. Your boss's name on your phone screen. A passive-aggressive email with no subject line. Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between those things and actual physical danger. And here's the part nobody is talking about. The breathing exercises, the journaling, the positive affirmations, they are not touching the real problem. Not even close. Your alarm system is broken. It is misfiring constantly. And until you understand exactly why that is happening at a biological level, every stress relief hack you try is just slapping a bandage on a burst pipe. Stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you will understand something about your own body that most people spend their entire lives never learning. Let me describe your Tuesday. You wake up already behind. You check your phone before your feet hit the floor, and just like that, your amygdala, the threat detection center of your brain, fires its first alarm of the day. By 10 a.m., you have had 3 uncomfortable emails, 1 awkward conversation, and a to-do list that makes your chest feel tight. By 2 p.m., you are exhausted but wired. You cannot focus, but you cannot relax either. That is not a productivity problem. That is not a motivation problem. That is your nervous system stuck in a state called chronic sympathetic activation. Dr. Stephen Porges, a neuroscientist at Indiana University, has spent decades studying this. He calls it a dysregulated autonomic nervous system. And a 2021 study published in Frontiers in Psychology found that over 77% of people experience physical symptoms of stress, so severe they impact their daily functioning, every single week. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are running ancient survival hardware in a modern world that it was never designed for. And the gap between those two things is making you sick. So you do what everyone does. You Google it. And Google tells you to breathe deeply. Download a meditation app. Cut out caffeine. Take magnesium. Go for a walk. Maybe try yoga. And look, none of those things are bad. Some of them are genuinely helpful in isolation. But here is what you actually do. You try the deep breathing for 4 days. You open the meditation app 6 times, complete 2 sessions, and then forget it exists. You swap your morning coffee for green tea for exactly 1 week. And then something stressful happens. And you are right back where you started. Lying awake at 1 a.m. with your heart rate elevated and your thoughts racing through a loop of everything you said wrong in 2019. Sound familiar? This is the cycle. This is what the wellness industry quietly profits from. The idea that you just need more tools, more techniques, more content. But adding more inputs to a dysregulated nervous system is like trying to organize a house fire. The problem is not that you lack information. The problem is that your nervous system is operating from a threat state that makes all of that information nearly impossible to implement. Here is the biology nobody is explaining to you. Your autonomic nervous system has 2 main branches. The sympathetic, that is your gas pedal, your fight or flight, and the parasympathetic, that is your break, your rest and digest. For most of human history, the sympathetic system fired in short, intense bursts. You ran from a predator. You escaped. Cortisol and adrenaline flooded your system. You burned through them physically, and then the parasympathetic branch kicked in and your body recovered. The problem in 2024 is that the threats never stop. You never physically run. You never physically fight. So the cortisol and... Now here is where it gets interesting. And this is the part that actually changed everything for a woman named Rachel, a 34-year-old project manager from Portland who started documenting her nervous system reset journey publicly in early 2023. Rachel had tried everything. Therapy, SSRIs, a 2-week silent retreat. She said the retreat actually made things worse because she had no tools to process what came up when the noise stopped. The turning point came when her therapist introduced her to polyvagal theory. Developed by Dr. Stephen Porges, yes, the same researcher I mentioned earlier, polyvagal theory introduced a 3rd state of the nervous system that most people have never heard of, the dorsal vagal state. That is a freeze state, a shutdown. It is what happens when your system has been in fight or flight so long that it just collapses. And here is the crucial insight. Most people who think they are anxious are actually oscillating rapidly between fight or flight and freeze. That is why you feel exhausted and wired at the same time. That is why you cannot relax even when nothing is wrong. And here is what Rachel's life looks like now, not because she overhauled her entire existence, but because her nervous system stopped lying to her. She still gets stressful emails, she still has difficult conversations, her workload did not change. But when those things happen, her system registers them appropriately, as manageable inconveniences, not survival threats. She described it as someone finally turning down the volume on a fire alarm that had been blaring for 10 years. She sleeps through the night. She can sit in traffic without her chest tightening. She can have a hard conversation without her hands shaking. She can be present with her kids in the evening instead of mentally still at her desk. This is not about becoming a monk. This is not about eliminating stress from your life. Stress is not your enemy. Your dysregulated response to stress is. When your nervous system is calibrated correctly, stress becomes information instead of a threat. Your body can mobilize, respond, and then genuinely recover. That recovery is what most people have not felt in years, maybe decades. And the research is clear. A regulated nervous system is correlated with lower inflammation markers, improved immune function, better cognitive performance, and significantly reduced risk of anxiety disorders and depression. So what specifically changed for Rachel? And what the research consistently points to? 3 things. First, she stopped trying to think her way out of a body-level problem. The nervous system does not respond to logic. It responds to physical signals. Tone of voice, facial expression, breath rate, movement. These are the inputs your vagus nerve is actually listening to. Second, she started using something called physiological sighing. This is not regular deep breathing. It is a double inhale through the nose followed by a long, slow exhale through the mouth. Stanford researchers, specifically Dr. Andrew Huberman's lab, published a 2023 study confirming this is the fastest known way to shift the autonomic nervous system from sympathetic to parasympathetic activation, faster than any other breathing technique. 1 to 3 cycles, that is it. Third, she targeted something called vagal tone, which is essentially the fitness level of your vagus nerve. Just like a muscle, you can train it. Cold water on the face, humming, gargling with water. These are not quirky wellness trends. They are evidence-based vagal nerve stimulators documented in peer-reviewed literature going back to the 1990s. The mechanism is real, the results are repeatable, and none of them require a subscription, a retreat, or 2 hours of your morning. Here is exactly how to start recalibrating your nervous system starting today. Step 1. Morning neuroception check. Before you look at your phone, and I mean before, this is non-negotiable, spend 60 seconds doing 3 physiological sighs. Double inhale through the nose, long, slow exhale through the mouth. You are not trying to relax. You are sending a direct signal to your brainstem that the environment is safe. Step 2. Identify your top 3 daily threat triggers. For most people, it is the phone first thing, a specific person at work, or the transition from work to home. Write them down. Awareness before intervention is how you break the automatic loop. Step 3. Build vagal tone daily. 2 minutes of humming in the shower. 30 seconds of cold water on your face and neck before bed. These are not optional extras. They are the gym for your nervous system. Now, around the 7-minute mark of doing this work consistently, most people hit a wall. They need structure and accountability to keep going. This is exactly where a nervous system-focused daily practice becomes critical. I personally use Calm for their body scan and sleep meditations. They have specific sessions designed around nervous system downregulation, not just general relaxation, and there is a meaningful difference. I will link that below. And if you want to go deeper on the science, the book that Rachel credits as the framework that changed everything is Accessing the Healing Power of the Vagus Nerve by Stanley Rosenberg. Published in 2017, it is the most practical translation of polyvagal theory for everyday people I have found. Amazon link is in the description. It is genuinely worth reading twice. Step 4. Track your baseline. Use a free app, a wearable, or just a journal. Rate your tension level from 1 to 10, 3 times a day. You cannot change what you cannot measure. Within 2 weeks of consistent practice, most people report a measurable shift in their baseline, not because they fixed their life, because they finally stopped letting their nervous system lie to them. The curiosity loop I opened at the start, your body thinking you are being chased by a lion 40 times a day, that is not a metaphor designed to scare you. It is the actual biological reality of what chronic sympathetic activation does to a human nervous system in the modern world. And now, you know it. More importantly, you know why the generic advice fails, what is actually happening in your body when you feel wired and tired simultaneously, and 3 specific evidence-backed tools to start changing your biological baseline today. Most people will watch this, nod, and do nothing. Do not be that person. Start with 1 physiological sigh right now. Seriously. Pause, double inhale, long exhale. That is your nervous system receiving its first honest signal in a long time. If this landed for you, subscribe, because every week on this channel we go this deep on mindful living, and we do not do surface level. Drop a comment below. What is your #1 nervous system trigger? I read every single one. And share this with 1 person in your life who you know is running on empty, because this information changes things. Links to Calm and the Rosenberg book are in the description below. Disclaimer. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing constitutes professional advice of any kind.